We're breathing some new life into this old Ford. Follow along as we install lift, wheels, and tires. We're here at the front of the truck, and I'll talk about the suspension that we're doing on this thing. This is a pretty simple kit because this truck uses leaf springs on all four corners. As you can see, we've got this big rough country 4-inch lifted leaf spring installed. There are a couple other components that we opted to delve into while we had this front suspension apart. One were these hubs. We replaced all the bearings inside there and installed brand new worn premium lockouts. This truck definitely has some age on it, and I'm sure the old wheel bearings that were in there had seen plenty of life, and it was time to replace them. While we were doing that, we opted to do ball joints. Super important on these trucks because alignments can be pretty difficult. As you can imagine, with that twin traction beam suspension setup, as the suspension goes up, we've got these brackets dropping it down, but we still want to make sure that we get camber correct, or else these trucks end up looking really funny with crooked tires. And so much of that adjustment is here right in this top ball joint. If you look at it closely, there's like a star washer in there that'll index that ball joint exactly where it's supposed to go so we can get it correct. So we've got new ball joints in there, all that stuff's working great, and we're gonna get it all adjusted when we get this truck over on the alignment rack. Let's go out to the back of this truck because it's even way simpler than the front of this thing. As I mentioned when we were talking about the front suspension, the rear suspension is very, very simple. As you can see, we've got a solid rear axle back here, and the lift kit simply consists of this rear suspension block and, of course, new longer U-bolts to match. When we did all that, we also, of course, opted for these new longer shocks that came from Rough Country. Let's talk tires and wheels. Of course, we've got the originals right here and the new tires and wheels right next to it. This truck has a lot of factory chrome accents, the bumpers, and of course this trim down the sides, the door handles. And so I didn't think it would look really good with an all black wheel. I really like the contrast of all the chrome with a polished wheel. And so a resurgence that we've seen recently are machined wheels. A lot of manufacturers are coming out with new wheels in a machined finish wheel. Now I like machined finish wheels over a chrome wheel because these things are still clear coated, unlike most chrome finishes, which can be definitely tough in the winter with salt and corrosion. These things are gonna be much easier to care for with a machined, clear-coated wheel than a traditional chrome wheel, or even worse, polished wheel. So out with the old, in with the new. We've got this 17-inch method wheel here. And as I said before, it is a machined finish wheel. Of course, it's 8 lug to fit on this truck. I really like this simulated beadlock wheel. It really gives it kind of a desert race off-road look to it. We had some issues with center caps because these full float axle shaft pieces here are super, super long. So the center caps that Method included definitely aren't gonna work. So we ordered some stainless, kind of more of a generic cap to cover all that up. And I think that chrome cap will match this wheel really nicely. These are a 35-inch tall tire, which with a 4-inch lift on this truck looks perfectly. I think everything looks right. This is the Nitto Recon Grappler. It's a tire that we use regularly for trucks that are driven on-road and off-road. They seem to perform well in both scenarios. So we just pulled our Super Duty off the alignment rack, and what a struggle getting an alignment done on these trucks is. It's definitely a heck of a lot more work than just your conventional alignment on a 4Runner or a Wrangler. But it's all done, the alignment is perfect, and I absolutely love how this truck turned out. So just to give you a quick recap, we did a 4-inch rough country kit. We added stainless braided brake hoses from Skyjacker. We also did new brake calipers because they were bad too. We did a steering stabilizer from Rough Country, and that wraps up the suspension for wheels and tires. We did Nitto Recon Grapplers, 35-inch for 17-inch Method wheels. As I mentioned before, I love these machine wheels. They are looking killer. We opted to ditch the factory Method caps because they just didn't work, and we got some stainless caps for Gorilla. I love how this whole project turned out. There's definitely a resurgence in popularity for these old trucks, and I love seeing them in the shop here every single day. If you want to see more trucks just like this one and some of the cool projects that we do here in our shop, be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on all of our social channels. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you later.